Welcome back to the farmhouse cottage garden. My name is Jordan and I'm going to show you around my garden today with our 5th week of garden tours. This week it has been a weird garden week. We've dealt with possums, we've dealt with pests, we've dealt with no rain, and so what you're going to see behind me is a little bit of the plants doing what they are supposed to do without my help, as well as some new things I've had to plant because we lost some plants. However, it just rained this morning and it's supposed to rain over the next 2 days. We haven't had rain in over 3 weeks, so I wanted to get this done so that way I could cut some of the flowers and bring them in before the rain absolutely destroys them. So let's go ahead and get started with today's tour. Okay, I just wanted to give you a quick look at the green stalks and our string light planter. As you can see, these sunflowers have taken off since the last time you've seen them. They've been doing really well with the weather we've been having. And then we have this green stalk right here with the strawberries and sunflowers, and they are doing really well. The lettuce that I planted about 3 weeks ago is doing good and really enjoying it. I'm just making sure that they've been watered. And then the plants that I've started are doing really good, especially these, I think they're the asters, the China asters. They've been really enjoying the heat. The poppies not so much, but they are still hanging on. Then we have this green stalk, and these sunflowers have been taking off as well. You can see how tall some of them have been getting, and it's been a little windy, so I've just been using some garden tape to tie them up against things as you know, I see it fit. Here is the corner garden. This has most of my flowers, my zinnias and my dahlias, as well as some blueberries down there that are starting to form blueberries. As you can see, the dahlias are thriving over here, and the zinnias have absolutely taken off as well. This is my Francis Myland rose, which actually has rosebuds on it now. If you can see that right there. So we are going to have some beautiful roses, hopefully for next week's garden tour, so I can show you what those ones are going to look like. We have some more zinnias, more dahlias, and then more zinnias. We have some bee balm that I planted back there, as well as some Thai basil in the corner. So first things first is my teasing Georgia rose. These are the plants right inside of the gate of the garden, and as I'm going to show you, they have buds on them, and so we should start seeing some flowers probably in the next 2 weeks or so. So that's really exciting that it's starting to bud out. We have one more radish in here left to harvest, and then the sunflower that's growing up next to it. We have our four corner cherry tomatoes. This is the sun gold cherry tomato, and you can see all of the fruit and flowers on this guy, and he has now hit the top of the tomato cage. This is bed number 1. This is my Dr. Witchy's tomato right here, and this is the one that had aphids, and it is doing just fine. Got some nice big ones on there, as well as some more blossoms hanging out over here as well. So we've got lots going on this plant. This one is now taller than the trellis. After it rains, I'm going to be working on tying him to the trellis over here too. Then I planted some cilantro right underneath him, and they are finally starting to pop up, so that's exciting. We have some radish. I planted some more radish. We initially had a squash here, but the possum got to the squash this past week, so I replanted it with radishes so that way it would grow faster. And then once these 2 radishes are gone, we'll see what time it is, and maybe I'll do a succession sowing of the squash again. Then we have a zinnia right here that's in full bloom. I'm gonna get ready to cut these before it starts to rain really hard again. And then we have fun. So this guy now has aphids. So after the rain, I'll come out here and I'll spray some neem oil. Looks like I'm gonna be battling these all year long. So as you can see right there, that is an aphid. So I will be working on spraying my homemade neem oil with Castile soap on this guy to get that taken care of. It doesn't look like they're super terrible yet, but like here's a leaf that's bad. It's not that bad, but I'll work on that and get that taken care of. So after it rains, there's no point in doing it now because it'll just wash off. So super fun. One more thing to deal with this year. And then we have my nasturtium down there. And I'm going to show you the back side of these tomato plants because you can see the tomatoes growing on the other side. So here's a better view, or another view of the Dr. Witchy's over here with all of her blossoms. And then we have our San Marzano paste tomato, which is the one that now has the aphids. And it is forming beautiful little tomatoes right there. And if you can look really hard, you can see one right there. And then there's another one right there. This is bed number 2. This is my pink tie-dye tomato right behind there. As you can see, I'm gonna have to pull that one. This is a cat face tomato. You guys can see that right there. That will do nothing for me, so I go ahead and pull those off whenever I see them. And so we're looking good. There's another big one on the back side over there, but we have some really good looking tomatoes coming up over off of this with lots of blossoms, and it's looking really healthy. As of right now, I don't see any aphids on this one. It's really funny. They don't eat the zinnias, the aphids. They stay away from the zinnias, so that makes me kind of mad. But then we have this beautiful, man, what's it called? The giant salmon rose zinnia, my favorite. Absolute one of my favorite zinnias is this light orange peach color. It's so pretty. We have our onions right here. I planted some more radish, basil. Our squash is coming in really well. This is our Black Beauty zucchini. And as you can see, we finally got one of the male flowers down there. There's a little itty bitty baby zucchini right there. But we don't need a flower yet, so that guy's gonna hang out. Then this other tomato right here is another Dr. Witchy's. And as you can see, she is living her best life with a few tomatoes down there, quite a few blossoms coming up, and is looking really, really healthy too over here. We have some more little flower girl zinnias in between all of these. And this is a Senora zinnia that's getting really tall. This is one I didn't pinch, so this is the difference between pinching versus not pinching. And so now we have all of this in here, and then I will show you the backside. This is the backside of bed number 2. You can see this side gets way more sun, which is why those leaves look the way they do. I was going to cut them off, however there's tomatoes right here and I don't want them to get sun scald, so I'm going to leave it until it dies and it decides it doesn't want to be attached to the plant anymore. But as you can see, there is a tomato right in there. This is a pink tie-dye tomato. And then we have another dahlia right there, some more zinnias, and then my really tall, big Senora zinnias hanging out over here. And it looks like I've got caterpillars are out in full force now. So right there, that's caterpillar. Or maybe even, I did see a grasshopper over here the other day. So I guess I need to look out for some grasshoppers too. This is one of my my second of my cherry tomatoes. This is a sweetie cherry tomato, and she is looking fantastic. I will go ahead and show you her other side because you can see the fruit better. This is the backside of the cherry tomato. This is our sweetie cherry tomato. Sucker again. And then this guy has now reached the top of the tomato cage. This is my third flower bed. This has some peppers and cucumbers. So this is one of the beds that got really into by the possum. It got to the cucumbers in the back, and this is also where I think I have they're a root worm basically, and they eat the base of the plant and then they wilt over and die. So I had to re-sow some cucumbers, and then one of my cucumbers lived, so we'll see how that guy does. But we do have the Natopino right in here with some flowers. However, if you can see down here, they are dropping a lot of their blossoms, and I have yet to be able to look into like why they're doing that. But you know, we still have lots of blossoms, so I'm really not worried about it right now, and it's just becoming June. Then we have this huge Senora zinnia with all these beautiful flowers. And then we have our stalk coming in right here. This is buttercream stalk. We have another one right over here, and she is just starting to bloom. So hopefully next week we'll have a better look-see at what she's gonna look like. We have my Thai basil, we have some radishes, and then we have the star of the show this week is the snapdragons. So she has finally blossomed, she is beautiful, and I absolutely adore her. Then we have the lone cucumber that survived the possum attack and the grub attack with her little tendrils right here. So she's looking healthy, she's growing. I'm sure she'll do really good after this rain too. And then I just, in the back right over here, I just re-sowed some cucumbers yesterday, so they should be up in probably after this rainstorm they'll be up. This is bed number 4. This is my Natopino. Lots of blossoms on there, doing really good, looking really nice. We have another snapdragon over here. It has just started to form its head, so I'll be excited to see what that looks like. This was a transplanted pepper from another bed because of the possum, because he tore out the zinnia and the cucumbers that were over here. So I put in a pepper over here. I believe this is a red. I think this is my red pepper, so a red bell pepper. And then I replanted cucumbers. These are my silver slicers because the grubs and the possum ripped them out and destroyed it. So hopefully you'll see some bigger cucumbers next week right there taking off. And then my lone cilantro decided it wanted to pop up. So I have one little cilantro plant right there. This is the stalk. This is one that was destroyed, hurt by the possum. I'm gonna see if he's gonna come back to life, and we'll see how he does over the next few weeks. This is my third tomato that's in the corner. This is my Brad's Atomic Grape tomato, and almost to the top of the trellis or the tomato cage, but these suckers are huge. Not quite ready yet, and you pick these by feeling these. So we have some nice looking ones over there. We have some more on the back side as well, but these overall are looking really nice. My 5th bed, this bed was also hit by the possum. I lost one of my bell peppers right here, which is fine, it's not a big deal. It just gives this one a little bit more room to grow. My zinnias made it out untouched. Nothing touches the zinnias, it's super weird. And then got to my melon, my Minnesota midget melon, so I had to replant that guy. This one is being attacked by the root borer things, and so far I think I may have gotten to them quick enough, and hopefully it'll reroot itself a little bit, but this one is looking really good, so we'll see if this one can fight off those guys and I can work my magic as well. Bell peppers are looking really good over here. Lots of flowers, lots of blossoms. Same thing over here, looking really nice and healthy. The zinnias have taken off again because they just want to grow. And my last 6th bed, this is my Kajari melon bed. The possum did get to my Kajari melon that was over here, so I had to replant that one. This one looks like he's doing fine. Let's see if we can get him through. The zinnias, of course, once again, just looking awesome. We have some more peppers over here. Oh, you know what? Let's see, 1, 2. That one over there is actually an orange bell pepper. I transplanted one of those out. That's what I did. And then these are my red bell peppers, and they're looking really good. Huge. I think I have one. I don't know if it's gonna fall off or not, but you see that one right in the middle? We'll see. I'll look for next week and see if that one will fall off or not, but it's the biggest one I've seen so far. The basil, living its best life, trying to flower all of the time, so just, ripping things off every time I swing by here. But other than that, everything's looking good. This is my last cherry tomato. This is another sun gold cherry tomato, and she is loaded down with fruit. She is almost to the top of that tomato cage. All right, and now for the center part of the garden. This is my little herb garden down here, looking really nice with all the herbs. The parsley is now being used in my flower arrangements. We have my 2 Pro Cut white night sunflowers. We have some, which is giving some shade to the basil, which is awesome, so it's not flowering as bad as the other ones. And then, as you can see, we have some thyme in the back that is living its best life. Then on this side over here, we have another Pro Cut White Night sunflower doing really well, mixed in with my onions and a few garlic that's in here. The garlic is not quite ready yet, getting close to it, but not quite. And then we have more sunflowers in here with the garlic. This garlic will probably be the first garlic that I pull. They're the biggest and been in here the longest, but not quite yet. They got to my sunflowers in here as well, the possum did, so I replanted a surprise pumpkin that Aiden does not know about. So I'm hoping that I can grow some pumpkins without him knowing, and then I can show him once they are, big and nice. I don't want to get his hopes up and then them get destroyed. So, and then it looks like we got about half an inch of rain last night. So we'll see how much more we get today. All right, so that wraps up this week's garden tour. I want to say thank you for joining me as I take you through my garden and show you what is growing in my garden this year. Every week, on every Sunday, I will post a garden tour to show you what's growing, what has grown, and what is going on in my garden. Dealing with lots of pests right now, lots of animals, and having to re-sow things, and that's just part of the garden. While it is frustrating, it is part of the journey, and if you can see behind me, it is still so very worth it. So I'm excited to show you what happens after this next 2 days of rain that we have in the forecast and how that affects next week's garden. So I post these every Sunday. I hope you'll join me next Sunday for our next updated garden tour. I'll talk to you guys later and have a great day.